Everything was going perfectly, until suddenly the door opened, and he was standing right there. It started with the sound of a door handle turning, just a soft click, barely noticeable. But when you're in someone's room with your hand on their chest, and your lips still trembling from the kiss you just had, that sound feels louder than a gunshot. We didn't even have time to pull away. The door opened, the hallway light spilled in, and there he stood, Mr. Maddox, his dad. But let me rewind, because if you're here for just that moment, the kiss, the door, the chaos, you're missing the part that really matters, the part where I met Drew Maddox. 3 weeks earlier, I didn't even know his first name. He was Maddox, that tall, brooding guy who played cornerback, always wore black hoodies, and never showed up to pep rallies. He had the kind of face people didn't forget, but a personality that didn't invite company. And me? I was Jonah, not invisible, but not anyone people stopped for either. I kept to myself, doodled in notebooks, and made myself small enough to stay out of everyone's way, especially the football crowd, especially Maddox. The day we met wasn't dramatic. It was the tension. I had been caught sneaking out of gym class to sit in the library, a regular move that finally got me written up. He, apparently, had told a math teacher to choke on a whiteboard marker. So, yeah, we ended up sitting 4 desks apart, both of us too proud to look at each other. For the first 20 minutes, the room was dead silent, except for the sound of the old fan in the corner rattling like it was on life support. Then he spoke. "You draw, right?" I looked up. He was staring at the sketchbook on my lap, the one I was trying to hide under the desk. Sometimes, I muttered. He leaned back in his chair. "You're good. I've seen your stuff. The one in the art hallway? That big mural with the 2 faces?" I blinked. No one ever noticed that. "Yeah, that was mine." He gave a nod. I liked it. I didn't know what to say. Was this some weird setup? A dare? But he didn't laugh. He just sat there, staring at the ceiling like we were talking about the weather. That was the first time we spoke. The second time came 2 days later, when he found me eating lunch alone in the library and sat down across from me without asking. "You always eat here?" "Mostly." "You like being alone?" "Not really. Just safer." He didn't say anything to that. Just unwrapped his sandwich and shared his chips like it was no big deal. But it was. To me, it was the first time someone chose to sit beside me when they didn't have to. By the second week, it became a routine. He'd sit with me in the library, or lean against my locker after 6th period, or send a 1-word text here. Whenever he parked outside my house with his music playing low. He never asked for anything, never crossed lines. But the way he looked at me, like I was something real in a world full of fakes, it made it harder to breathe. One night, we were sitting in his truck, rain tapping against the windows, the whole world muffled and soft. He was staring straight ahead, hands gripping the wheel even though the engine was off. "Can I tell you something?" he asked. I nodded. "I haven't told anyone this, not even my mom." He looked at me, his jaw tense. "My dad doesn't like people like you." "Like me?" "Like us." The word us stuck in the air like smoke. I didn't answer, because deep down I didn't want to ruin it. I didn't want to ask what us meant. But then, 2 days later, everything changed. He showed up outside my house, soaking wet, eyes wide, breathing hard. "Can I come in?" I let him. We went in my room. He stood in the middle, dripping onto the rug. "I need to tell you something," he said. "Okay." He didn't speak for a few seconds. Then he stepped closer, slowly, like every inch he moved was a decision. And then he kissed me. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't loud. It was quiet, like 2 broken things leaning on each other for balance. He pulled back before I could react. "Sorry," he whispered. "Don't be." I kissed him back. And that time he didn't stop. We spent the next hour not kissing, just talking, lying on the bed, staring at the ceiling, fingers brushing but never locking. He told me about the pressure from his dad, how football was more than a game. It was his ticket out, how any hint of weakness would ruin everything, and how liking a boy wasn't just weakness. It was betrayal. "Sometimes I wish I could disappear," he said. You don't need to. You just need somewhere to be seen. You see me? Yeah, I do. That's when it happened. The door handle clicked. We froze. No time to move. No time to run. Just the sound of the door creaking open and the bright light spilling in. Mr. Maddox stood there, keys still in hand, his face unreadable, eyes locked on us, not doing anything wrong, but still too close, too real. The silence was suffocating. Then he said coldly, "Drew, we need to talk." Drew stood up slowly, didn't say a word. He just looked at me once, and I saw it. The fear, the guilt, the walls slamming back into place. He followed his dad out, didn't close the door behind him, didn't look back. That was 5 days ago, and I haven't heard from him since. No texts, no knocks at my window, no music from his truck outside. But I know one thing, this story isn't over. Because people like Drew, they don't disappear. They just hide until someone says, "Come back, I still see you." And that someone is going to be me. If you've ever felt like you had to hide who you are, or like you were 1 second too late to speak your truth, you're not alone. This story is for you. Make sure you're here for part 2, because what happens next, even I didn't see coming. The silence that follows being cut off from someone you care about hurts in a way you can't describe. It's not just the absence of their voice. It's the absence of expecting it. Waking up and realizing you didn't get a text. Walking past a parking lot and not seeing his truck. The little glances you give the hallway. Hoping, just hoping. But Drew was gone. Not literally. He still showed up to school. Still walked the halls. But it was like a switch had flipped. No more library lunches. No more texts. No more us. On the 3rd day, I finally tried texting him. "Are you okay?" No response. 12 hours later. "I'm here if you need me." That night, it wasn't nothing to me. Nothing. On the 4th day, he passed me in the hallway. Our eyes met for maybe half a second. His mouth opened like he was about to say something. Then he turned and kept walking. That did more damage than silence ever could. By Friday, I was spiraling. Not just emotionally, but obsessively, replaying everything. That kiss, that look on his dad's face, the way Drew didn't say a word. What if he's grounded? What if his phone got taken? What if it meant nothing to him? Chloe noticed. She always did. "You've been quiet all week," she said, stirring her iced coffee. "I've had stuff on my mind." "Does it have a name?" I looked away. "You wouldn't believe me." She arched a brow. "Jonah, I've known you since you cried watching a dog food commercial in 7th grade. Try me." I hesitated, then just said it. "Drew Maddox kissed me." She blinked, then blinked again. "Wait, like Drew Football Maddox?" "Yes." "And you kiss back?" "Yes." "And now he's ghosting you?" "Not by choice." His dad walked in. Her face paled. Holy SH*T. That's when she surprised me. She didn't say, "I told you so." Didn't say, "You should have known better." She just put her hand over mine and said, "Okay, let's fix this." Saturday night. Chloe showed up outside my house with a hoodie, a plan, and a map of the Maddox family driveway printed from Google Earth. "We're not breaking in," I told her. "Not breaking. Just checking." That's literally stalking. It's called emotional recon. She parked across the street from Drew's house just past 10 p.m. His room was on the 2nd floor, left side, always with the blinds halfway open. I stared at the window like it might blink, but it didn't. No light, no music, no silhouette pacing behind the curtains. Just silence. "Maybe he's asleep," I muttered. "Maybe his dad took his soul," Chloe muttered back. I elbowed her. Then the porch light flicked on. We ducked. Seconds later, the front door opened, and Drew stepped out. Alone. He looked older. Not physically, just tired. Like something inside him had aged since I last saw him. He sat on the porch step and lit a cigarette, then stared at the street like he was expecting the night to answer a question. I wanted to get out, run to him, but I froze. "You're scared," Chloe whispered. "Yeah, because it mattered." We waited until he went back inside. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay awake, thinking about the boy on the porch and the war I couldn't see. Sunday morning, I got a text from an unknown number. "Don't come near me again." Just 7 words. But they gutted me, because I knew it was Drew, and I knew he didn't mean it. I didn't reply, didn't go near him, didn't tell Chloe. I just shut down. By Monday, I was operating on autopilot. School, hallways, numb stares, until 7th period. Ms. Dawes passed back our essays, and Drew's paper landed next to mine. He didn't look at me, but something fell out of his folder. A photo. I picked it up before he could. It was of 2 boys at a lake, one sitting on a dock, the other behind him, smiling like he was caught mid-laugh. It wasn't Drew, but it was his face, just younger. And the boy behind him? He looked almost identical. Same jawline, same eyes. "Your brother?" I asked softly. Drew's face went pale. He snatched the photo back, didn't say a word, just crumpled it, shoved it in his pocket, and got up. Later that night, I went back to the photo in my head. The boy behind Drew, smiling, carefree. I'd never heard of him having a brother. But that look, the way they stood together, it wasn't just family. It was something deeper, like they knew each other's insides. I opened my laptop, searched. Drew Maddox's brother obituary. Nothing. Then I searched. Drew Maddox car accident. And there it was. High school student killed in Route 92 collision. 2019. Name, Ryan Maddox. Age 17. Survived by father, Andrew Maddox Sr. No mention of Drew. No photos. Just a short paragraph and a funeral date. I sat back, heart racing. Ryan was his older brother, and Drew never once mentioned him, which meant whatever happened between them still haunted him. Tuesday, I left a note in Drew's locker. "I know you're hurting. I saw the photo. If you want to talk, I'm still here. I always was." No name, no pressure, just a door cracked open. He didn't reply. But that night, someone knocked on my window. It was Drew, hood pulled low, eyes red. He didn't say anything. He just crawled in and sat on the floor. He was like me. He said finally, "Ryan." He nodded. "My dad found out, told him to get help, sent him to conversion camp, said it'd fix him. Jesus. He ran away before they could take him. Died the next week." My throat tightened. So when he saw us, he saw him. Drew curled his knees to his chest. "I wasn't just scared for me. I was scared he'd bury you too. He doesn't get to decide who I am." "No, but he gets to decide what I lose." I crawled beside him, put my hand on his. "You didn't lose me." That night we didn't kiss. We didn't touch. We just sat on the floor in silence, letting the truth fill the spaces between us. And maybe that was louder than anything we could have said. Secrets have a way of crawling out, even when you bury them deep. All it takes is one crack, one careless word, one folded note in the wrong hands. The morning after Drew showed up at my window, I felt something shift. He wasn't distant anymore, not fully open either, but something in his eyes had softened. That constant edge of defense dulled. He sat next to me in history, told Ms. Dawes' assigned seat, felt like it had bad karma. She just rolled her eyes and let him stay. For the first time in 2 weeks, I felt like I could exhale. After class, he handed me a folded paper. "Don't read it here," he whispered. Later, I waited until I was home to open it. My hand shook a little. Inside were just 5 lines. "You make things quieter, even when my brain is loud. I don't know how to be good at this, but I know I want to try. Just don't give up on me." I didn't cry, but I wanted to. Instead, I pressed the paper flat and slid it into my sketchbook, like a secret I wanted to keep safe forever. But the world doesn't let secrets stay safe. Not in high school. Not when people watch from shadows. and not when someone has a reason to stir the fire. By lunch the next day, someone had posted a photo to an anonymous Instagram story. A photo of a note I gave Drew, the one I slipped into his locker last week. I know you're hurting. I saw the photo. I'm still here. I always was. It was cropped tight, no names, but the handwriting was mine. People noticed. First came the stares, then the whispers, then the comments. Who do you think it's about? Kinda soft for Jonah. Is he into someone? Wait, is this real? I found Drew by the vending machines after third period. Did you show someone a note? What? No, I kept it in my wallet. Well, it's online now. sh*T. He paced a little, jaw tight. You think someone went through my stuff? Maybe, or maybe your dad. He froze. I didn't need an answer. We both knew. That afternoon, he didn't walk me to class, didn't text, didn't meet me at the usual bench by the gym. Instead, I got a message at 8:12 p.m. I think someone knows about us. Then another. My dad's been weird, checking my stuff, asking if I'm hiding anything. I don't want to lie, but I'm scared. I stared at the screen. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. What do you say to someone who's trying so hard to be strong while breaking inside? I typed slowly. You don't have to lie. You don't have to come out before you're ready. But you do have people who care. You have me. He didn't respond right away. But then, at 11:23 p.m., come to the lake tomorrow, noon. There's something I need to show you. The lake was where the photo came from. The one of Drew and his brother, Ryan. Saturday came with heavy clouds and muggy air. I biked to the lake, half convinced he wouldn't show. But he did, sitting on the edge of the dock, hoodie up, legs dangling over the water. He didn't say anything at first, just handed me his phone. Check my DMs. The last one, it was from a private account. No name, no profile pic, just a message. Ryan didn't die how they said he did. You deserve to know the truth. Attached was a file, an audio clip. I pressed play. A shaky voice filled the air. This is for anyone who finds it. My name is Ryan Maddox. And if you're hearing this, I didn't run. I was chased. My stomach twisted. My dad said being gay was a disease. Said I embarrassed him. He gave me an ultimatum. Conversion therapy or no home. So I left. But not because I was ashamed. Because I didn't want to become something I wasn't. Then silence. Then static. Then a sound like tires screeching. And the clip cut out. I looked at Drew. Is this real? He nodded, eyes glassy. It was recorded the night before the accident. Someone found it in an old email folder. I don't know who sent it, but I needed you to hear it. We sat there a long time. No words. Just waves lapping and memories crashing harder. Drew finally whispered. He died thinking no one would ever accept him. You're not him, but I could be if I stay silent. I turned to face him. Then don't. It's not that simple. It never is, but it's worth it. He looked at me for a long time, then reached for my hand and didn't let go. That night, Chloe FaceTimed me. I told her everything. She listened, nodded, then said, we need to find out who sent that message. Why? Because if there's someone out there who knew Ryan, then they know what really happened the night he died. You think it was an accident? I think Drew deserves to know. A story that started with a kiss in a bedroom was unraveling into something bigger, something darker, and something we couldn't ignore anymore. They say the dead can't speak, but sometimes if you listen hard enough, they still whisper. Sunday morning, Chloe showed up at my door with her laptop and 3 energy drinks. We're finding out who sent that message, she said, even if it kills my Wi-Fi and my sleep schedule. I didn't even argue. Part of me was scared to know the truth. But the bigger part, the part that still saw Drew's hollow eyes, needed answers. We started with Ryan's name. Most of his old accounts were gone, deactivated, wiped, or locked under private settings. But his Twitter was still viewable, frozen in time since 2019. His last tweet was simple. Don't let people love the mask. It'll suffocate you. Retweet count, 2. Likes, 5. Comments, none. But one thing stood out: the accounts that liked it. 4 spam bots. One was still active. A profile called at jalex89. No photo, no bio, just a banner image of a lake. The same lake Drew took me to. We clicked the profile. The pinned tweet was from earlier this year. Some wounds don't bleed. They echo. Chloe leaned in. Creepy, but poetic. We sent a DM from her burner account. You mentioned Ryan Maddox in a message. How did you know him? Then we waited. By evening, Drew came by. Through the door this time. He looked better. Still tired, but lighter somehow. He sat at the edge of my bed, fiddling with the ring on his finger, one he never used to wear. It was his, he said, noticing my glance. Ryan's. I found it in an old box in the attic. He was quiet a moment. Do you think people ever really leave? I think they stay in the things they touched, the people they changed. Then Ryan never left. He handed me something, a folded piece of notebook paper. I opened it. It was a letter from Ryan. Drew, if I'm gone when you find this, don't be angry. I want you to remember me with softness, not storms. You are not broken. You are not wrong. You are more because you feel deeply. Live like I didn't get to. Be free. Love loud. I swallowed hard. Where did you find this? Tape behind the old sketchbook he gave me when I was 13. I never looked until now. He left this for you. And I ignored it for years. Chloe came back into the room, holding her phone. You guys, we got a reply. She handed the screen to Drew. The message read, I knew Ryan. I loved him, but I couldn't save him. I've been carrying that guilt for 5 years. If you want to know the whole truth, meet me tomorrow, the lake, 9 p.m. No name, no details. Just that. We stared at the screen in silence. It could be a trap, I said. Or it could be everything we've needed, Drew replied. The next night we went, flashlights in hand, nerves on edge. Chloe insisted on staying in the car, park a little down the road, just in case. Drew and I walked down the dock. At 9:07 p.m., a figure appeared. Slim, hoodie up, barely a sound in their steps. They stopped a few feet from us and pulled back the hood. A woman, mid-20s, sharp cheekbones, eyes rimmed red. You're Drew, she said. You look just like him. You knew Ryan? She nodded. I was his girlfriend. Drew blinked. Wait, what? Well, the version he let the world see. But when we were alone, he was just Ryan. Confused. Kind. Torn between who he was and who he was allowed to be. She sat down at the edge of the dock. He told me everything. About your dad. About how scared he was. About the other boy, the one he loved. Drew tensed. I thought I was the only one he ever told. You were. Besides me. I was his cover, and I didn't mind. Because I loved him, even if it wasn't romantic. I was the only safe space he had. I asked gently, what happened the night he died? She looked out over the lake. He got a text from your dad. A final warning. Something like, if you don't agree to the camp, you're dead to me. Ryan left that night. Said he couldn't take it anymore. He wasn't running from life. He was running from hate. She paused. He called me from the road. Said he was going to the lake to clear his head before deciding what to do next. And then nothing. His car was found near Route 92. But I never believed it was just an accident. Drew's voice cracked. Why didn't you come forward? Because I was 17, scared, and your dad had influence. He made it seem like Ryan was troubled. I believe him, until now. We sat in silence, the water below us still and dark. Finally, she stood. I don't know what this changes, but I needed to say it out loud. She handed Drew a flash drive. Everything I had, texts, voicemails, screenshots. Do what you want with it. Just don't let him be forgotten. And then she left. Back home, Drew didn't cry, but his shoulders shook when I hugged him. That night, he fell asleep in my bed, not as a secret, not as something to hide, but as a boy who had been holding pain for too long, finally letting someone else carry it with him. Sometimes grief doesn't feel like crying. Sometimes it feels like rage, like wanting to punch a wall, because you finally understand what was stolen from you. That's how Drew looked the next morning. We sat cross-legged on my bedroom floor, his laptop between us. The flash drive from Ryan's old friend had 3 folders. Photos, voice memos, saved texts. Drew opened the memos first. We listened in silence. "I don't think I'm brave enough to fight forever," Ryan's voice said in one of them. "But I think I'm brave enough to love. I hope that's enough." Another clip played static. Then, Drew looked at me today like he could see me. Not just a mask. Me. I didn't say anything, but I hope he knew. Drew paused it. He stared at the screen. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe. "I didn't know," he whispered. "He's not saying that to blame you," I said. "He was just scared." Drew ran a hand through his hair. He was trying to leave breadcrumbs, and I never followed them. "But you are now." He clicked over to the text messages. Most were short, but one thread stood out. Ryan to Dad. "I'm still your son." His dad's reply. "Not until you fix this. Don't contact me again unless you're ready to change. I'm not broken. You are to me." The silence that followed made the room feel heavier than concrete. That same day at school, we felt it. The tension, the whispers, the shift. By now, everyone had seen something. First, the locker note. Then, a blurry shot of Drew and me walking out a lake trail together. It hit the group chats, the secret accounts, the DMs. At lunch, someone accidentally shoved into Drew. He didn't react. At the vending machine, 2 football guys made jokes just loud enough for us to hear. Guess tackling isn't the only thing he does on the field. Careful, he might try to kiss you next. Drew stiffened, his fist clenched, but he didn't swing. Instead, he walked out. I found him behind the gym, knees drawn to his chest. "I hate that they think they know me," he muttered. "They don't, but they think they do, and that's enough to ruin everything." He stood up suddenly. "I'm tired of hiding." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm going to tell the truth. All of it." That night, he posted a photo on Instagram. It was blurry, just him and Ryan, sitting on the dock, backs turned to the camera. His caption, "This was the last time I saw my brother, before the world made him feel like a mistake. I won't let them do that to me too. I like someone. I kissed him. I don't regret it. If that changes how you see me, so be it. I'm still me, and I'm not sorry." The post exploded. Within hours, it had over 200 comments, some supportive, some disgusting. One stood out. "You think you're brave? You're a disgrace. Come home now. We need to talk. Dad." We sat on my bed staring at it. "He's going to kill me," Drew whispered. "He's not. You don't know him." Then maybe it's time someone did. I didn't sleep much that night, because I was already planning my next move. The next morning, I stood outside Mr. Maddox's office. Drew's dad was a coach, not just at school, but at life. A big man with a voice that could silence a stadium. I walked in anyway. He looked up from his desk, surprised. "You're Jonah, right?" "Yes, sir." "You hear about football tryouts?" I sat down. "No, I'm here about your son." His face hardened. "Excuse me?" Drew is scared. "Of you. He has no reason to be." "He has every reason. You made his brother feel like he wasn't enough. You're doing the same to him." He stood slowly. "You have 5 seconds to walk out my office." "No," I said. "I will end you." "Then do it. But if you do, you're proving everything Ryan said." His face turned red, but he didn't speak. I took a deep breath and said the rest. "Your son is brave. Braver than you'll ever be. All he wants is to be loved without conditions. You don't have to understand it, but you don't get to erase it." I left before he could throw me out. Drew was waiting near the science wing. "You did what?" He needed to hear it. "He could come after you." "Let him." That night, something incredible happened. Chloe texted me a screenshot. It was a Mr. Maddox's Facebook post. I lost one son to silence. I will not lose another to my pride. I still don't understand everything, but I'm trying. Drew, I'm here when you're ready. Drew didn't cry, but he did hug me so tightly I could barely breathe. You changed him, he whispered. No, I said, you did. Some reunions aren't soft. Some don't come with hugs or warm smiles or movie moment apologies. Some begin with silence and stay there for a while. Drew stood on the porch of his father's house the following Sunday, 1 week after his post, 3 days after mine, and 5 years too late. He didn't knock at first, just stood there, fists in his hoodie pockets, eyes fixed on the same door he used to walk through every day like it meant safety. Now it felt like a test. I stayed in the car, watching through the windshield. He told me he wanted to do it alone, but just knowing I was close helped. Eventually, he knocked. The door creaked open. Mr. Maddox appeared, looking 10 years older than the last time I'd seen him. Eyes bagged, shoulders tired, pride dulled. For a moment, neither said anything. Then Drew said, "You posted about me." "I did." "Why?" His dad swallowed hard. "Because I saw what silence cost me last time. I didn't want to pay that price again." "It wasn't silence," Drew said. "It was rejection. That's different." "I know." They stood there a few more seconds. Then his dad stepped back and opened the door wider. "Come in, if you want." And Drew did. He told me later that the talk was awkward, painful, mostly stares, long pauses, and things unsaid. But 2 important things happened. First, Mr. Maddox admitted something. I wasn't just scared of losing Ryan. I was scared of what people would think of me, what it meant about how I raised him, what it meant about our name. "You cared more about your reputation than your son." "Yes," he said quietly. "I did. I was wrong." The second thing, he gave Drew a key to the garage. Ryan's boxes are still in there. Maybe there's more he left behind. We opened the garage the next day. It smelled like old paint, motor oil, and forgotten memories. There were 3 boxes labeled Ryan in black marker. We dug through them slowly. Yearbooks, sketches, a worn denim jacket that still smelled like mint gum and cologne. Then Drew found it, an old flip phone, cracked screen, battery dead. We plugged it into a vintage charger Chloe found online months ago for her retro aesthetic. It powered on. 1 new voicemail, undated. Drew hit play. Ryan's voice crackled through the speaker. "If you're hearing this, then maybe you've gone through my stuff. That's okay. I hope you found the art, the letters, maybe even the boy I loved. He was scared like me, but he made me feel like the world wasn't just pain." We glanced at each other. Dad thinks I'm rebelling, that I'm lost. But really, I just want to be held by someone without being told it's wrong. I'm going to the lake tonight, not to die, just to think. If I don't come back, tell Drew I forgave him before he even asked for anything. Drew sat down hard on the floor. He knew. "He always did," I said. "He loved you." We uploaded the voicemail to a Google Drive folder and saved it in 3 different places. This wasn't just nostalgia. It was evidence. Because if Ryan didn't intend to die, then why didn't he come back? That question haunted us, until Chloe called later that night. "I found something weird," she said. "Go on." I searched the accident report again, looked deeper. The official record said Ryan's car went off Route 92 after hitting a guardrail. But there was a witness who reported a second vehicle following him. No one ever followed up. A second car? Yeah, a black SUV. Swerved off the road after Ryan left the scene. Did they ID the driver? No. But get this, guess who owned a black SUV that year? I didn't answer, because I already knew. Mr. Maddox. Drew froze when I told him, then shook his head. No, he's a lot of things, but he wouldn't. "We don't know what happened," I said gently, "but we need to." We returned to the garage, checked every box again. Finally, tucked inside an old hoodie pocket, we found a receipt from a car repair shop. Dated 2 days after Ryan's death. Rear bumper repair, collision damage. License plate listed, MDDX 92. Drew stared at it, his face pale. That's my dad's old plate. He didn't say anything else. Just sat down on the edge of the trunk, eyes fixed on the floor. What if he followed Ryan, he whispered. What if he scared him off the road? We can't assume yet. But what if it's true? There's a kind of betrayal that doesn't scream. It whispers, wraps around your chest like rope you didn't know was tightening. And then suddenly you can't breathe. That's how Drew looked when he stood on his dad's doorstep, holding the car repair receipt in his hand. Trembling, but still standing. Mr. Maddox opened the door wearing an old baseball cap and a confused expression. Back again so soon? You lied to me, Drew said quietly. What are you talking about? Drew stepped forward. His hand shook as he held out the paper. You said Ryan ran off the road alone. That was an accident. But this, he lifted the receipt slightly, says you got your bumper fixed 2 days later. Collision damage. Rear side. Route 92. Mr. Maddox's expression barely changed. Just one blink. Then another. You've been digging. You were following him, weren't you? He was my son. He left in the middle of the night. What was I supposed to do? Not chase him like a threat. He was a threat to himself, to his future. He was making a mistake. No, you made the mistake. Mr. Maddox stepped out, closing the door behind him. I didn't touch his car. But you were there. I followed him to the lake. I waited. I just wanted to talk. Then why did you leave? His dad's voice dropped. He saw me, panicked, got in the car, and took off. I followed, tried to get him to pull over. You scared him. He wasn't answering his phone. He'd been crying. I thought if I could just get him to stop, I could talk him down. And instead, you ran him off the road. Silence. Then Mr. Maddox said, I mean to. But yes, I was behind him when it happened. Drew's face twisted like someone had yanked the ground out from under him. Why didn't you say anything? Because if I did, I'd lose everything. The team, my job, you lost me anyway. Drew didn't wait for more. He turned, walked, didn't look back. I found him in my backyard that night, sitting in the grass with knees hugged to his chest. The moment I sat down beside him, he leaned into me, didn't cry, didn't speak, just leaned. He didn't kill him on purpose, Drew finally said. No, but he still let the world believe a lie. And I helped him. I never questioned it. You were a kid. You didn't know. Now I do. We stayed outside until the moon carved silver lines across the lawn. And just when I thought things couldn't get heavier, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. I knew Ryan, too. He told me something the night he died. You should hear it. I replied instantly. Who is this? Meet me tomorrow. 5 p.m. Theater parking lot. Come alone. Drew saw my face pale and sat up. What is it? Another person. Someone else who knew him. They want to talk. It could be a trap. It could be the truth. The next day, I met the stranger. Late 20s. Wore all black. Sat in a faded Jeep with the windows rolled down and nervous energy vibrating off his fingers. He introduced himself as Mason, one of Ryan's co-workers from a bookstore he worked at part-time. He came in crying the night it happened. Mason said his dad had found his journal. My heart stopped. Journal? Yeah. Said it had everything in it. How he felt, who he loved, stuff he wasn't ready for anyone else to see. What happened to it? He told me he was going to destroy it. Said he'd leave it somewhere no one would find it. Where? Mason hesitated, then said, the old treehouse. I called Drew the second I left. Did you guys have a treehouse? Yeah, at the lake. Ryan built it when he was 13. He might have hidden something there. We drove out at sunset. The treehouse was more bones than structure now. Rotting wood, broken ladder, nails rusted over with time. But the base was still solid. We climbed up together. Dust and silence greeted us. But in the far corner, wedged under a floorboard, was a small leather-bound journal. Drew held it like a relic. We didn't open it there. Too sacred, too close to where it all ended. We waited until we got home. Inside, the first page read, "For the version of me I never got to be." The rest was Ryan's heart. Every page spilled truth. His confusion, his fear, his love, and finally, the last entry. I saw him, my dad, at the lake. He waited until I turned my back and stepped out from the trees. I ran. I didn't mean to, but the way he looked at me, like I was already dead, I knew nothing I said would change his mind. I don't want to die, but if I do, I hope someone finds this. I hope Drew knows he was never alone. We sat in stunned silence. Drew flipped to the back cover. Inside was a single Polaroid photo of Ryan and a boy with messy brown curls. Their arms were around each other. A kiss caught mid-frame. "That's not Mason," I said. "No," Drew replied. "That's someone else." We stared at the photo like it might blink back. Ryan, arms around another boy, kissing, smiling, alive in a way we'd never seen it before. Drew ran his fingers over the image slowly. "I don't recognize him," he whispered. "You don't think it's Mason?" "No. Mason had blue eyes. This guy's are dark. And look at the necklace. See that symbol? It's not something Ryan would have worn, but it matches the guy's bracelet." I nodded, leaning closer. "There's got to be a way to find him." "You think he's still out there?" "I think someone took this photo, and whoever was, they were close enough to capture a moment Ryan never showed the world." That night, we scanned the photo and uploaded it to an image search tool Chloe recommended. Nothing at first. Then a hit. A Flickr account, last active 5 years ago. The same Polaroid, reposted in a collage labeled, "June Moments, Summer Before It All Changed." The username was LensKid94. The caption? "You made me feel brave, even when I wasn't. Thank you, R." We dug through the account. A few other pictures featured the same mystery boy. One showed him on a skateboard, wearing a vintage red hoodie with a patch on the sleeve. Chloe zoomed in. "That patch," she said. "It's from the Whitmore Arts Camp. That's like 40 minutes from here." I said, "It still runs. I know someone who went. I can ask." Meanwhile, Drew tucked Ryan's journal into his backpack. "We need to protect this," he said. "If it gets out, it could hurt people, including Dad." "You still care about that?" "I don't know. I just know I don't want this to be another secret that ruins someone's life." But the next morning, the journal was gone. Drew tore his room apart. The bag, his desk drawers, even under his mattress. Gone. He called me in a panic. "Jonah, it's missing. I didn't take it anywhere. I swear I kept it with me the whole time." I rushed over. We looked again. Nothing. At lunch, Chloe pulled me aside. "We might have a bigger problem," she said, holding out her phone. "A text from an unknown number. Stop digging. You're stirring up ghosts better left buried. Next time, it won't just be a journal that goes missing." Attached was a photo of me, of Drew, at the lake, hands almost touching. I felt cold. "They're watching us." Chloe nodded grimly. "And they don't want the truth getting out." We didn't tell Drew at first. He already felt like everything was crumbling, his family, Ryan's legacy, even our safety. But I did tell Chloe to check the photo metadata. It was taken 3 days ago, from a high vantage point. Trees, which meant someone had followed us, planned this. We went to Whitmore Arts Camp the next afternoon under the excuse of touring for next summer. While Drew stayed in the car, Chloe and I asked the front office if they had any alumni records. After enough sweet talking and Chloe's fake story about a documentary, a tired receptionist gave us a list from 2019. And there it was, Eli Carter, listed with a cabin photo that matched the mystery boy exactly. That night, we tracked him down on Instagram. Private account. But his bio listed a website, a photography portfolio. And in one of the albums, another photo of Ryan, back turned, barefoot in the grass. Laughing, we sent a message through the site's contact form. Simple. We know about Ryan. We just want to talk. He replied 5 hours later. Meet me. No phones. No cameras. Just truth. Tomorrow night. Dockside Cafe. 9 p.m. We didn't tell Drew until an hour before we left. He was silent at first. Then he looked at the photo again, Ryan in Eli's arms, and just said, Okay. Dockside Cafe sat quiet at night, half lit with fairy lights and the smell of coffee and sea breeze. Eli sat in the corner. He stood, when we arrived, tall, angular face, black ring on his thumb. His eyes met Drew's, and something passed between them. A recognition. A grief they both wore like a second skin. I was in love with your brother, Eli said softly, but I couldn't save him. Drew's jaw tightened. No one could. Eli nodded, then pulled out something from his bag. Ryan's journal. You took it? I asked, half angry. I didn't steal it. Someone mailed it to me. No return address. Just a sticky note that said, They're getting too close. Keep it safe. He handed it to Drew. I thought it might be you too. I've been watching the story unfold. I didn't know who to trust, but then I saw your post, Drew, and I knew Ryan would have been proud of you. Drew held the journal tightly. You loved him more than anyone. He was terrified all the time. But when we were together, he laughed. He painted. He wanted a future. Do you think he meant to die? Eli shook his head slowly. I think he was pushed into a corner. By people. By silence. By fear. He didn't want to go. He just wanted to be seen. That night we left the cafe changed. We had the journal back. We had Eli's story. But now, someone knew how close we were to the truth. And they were watching. Waiting. Some truths don't explode. They crack. Slowly. Loudly. Until everything you build around them collapses. The morning after we got Ryan's journal back, Drew found his father waiting at the kitchen table. Hands clasped. Eyes heavy. Between them sat the open journal. Spine bent. Pages wrinkled. You went through my stuff? Drew asked, freezing. Mr. Maddox didn't answer right away. Just looked up with the weight of a man unraveling. A package came this morning. No name. Just your address. I thought it was for me until I opened it. Drew's fist curled. So what, you read it? After everything? Only the last entry. The one where he said he ran from you. Yeah. His voice cracked. That one. Silence filled the room. And then his father did something unexpected. He slid the journal back across the table. I won't stop you from looking for answers. But be careful. Not everyone wants this story told. At school, the whispers were louder than ever. People didn't just wonder anymore. They knew. The photo of Drew and me had somehow leaked. The one taken near the lake. It showed us inches apart, eyes locked, not kissing, but still intimate enough to start a wildfire. Locker notes, snide comments, a message on the bathroom wall. 2 fags walk into a secret. Only one walks out. But the worst? Someone stuck a printed photo on my locker, Ryan's journal, open to the page where he mentioned loving another boy. A red circle drawn around Drew's name. At the bottom, scribbled in black Sharpie, want this past year coach? Or maybe the yearbook team? I grabbed it and stuffed it into my backpack. Drew was already waiting outside by the oak tree. His eyes flicked to my face instantly. What happened? Just another threat. I handed him the photo. He stared at it for a long time. Someone's getting desperate, he finally said. They know we're too close to something. Too close to what, though? What are we missing? We decided to talk to Eli again. See if Ryan had ever mentioned anyone specific. Someone who might have had something to lose if the truth came out. We met him back at Dockside Cafe that evening. He came alone. This time, a little more relaxed, but his words were careful. Ryan was writing a letter, Eli said, to someone important. Not family, not a friend. A man, older, someone he was afraid of, but also angry with. Did he say a name? I asked. No, but he did say this. He knew, from the beginning. He acted like he didn't, but he knew. and use it to control me. Drew stiffened. Wait, that sounds like someone in power. Maybe a teacher? A coach? Maybe, Eli said. I thought it was his dad. But now, his eyes narrowed. Was there anyone Ryan worked with? Someone who helped his family or mentored him? Drew thought for a moment, then his eyes went wide. Coach Riles. I blinked. Your dad's best friend? He used to drive Ryan home when Dad couldn't. Said he was helping set him straight. But Ryan hated being alone with him. Eli's voice dropped. That might be your answer. We left with that name burning in our heads. Coach Riles. Everyone loved him. Funny, outgoing, always smiling too wide. But suddenly that smile fell off. Too forced. Too sharp. Drew and I didn't go home. We drove to Chloe's instead. She was already waiting, lights dim, laptop open. We told her everything. Okay, she said. Then let's dig. We searched news articles, Facebook posts, comments on school forums. And then we found it, an anonymous Reddit thread from 3 years ago. Has anyone had weird experiences with Coach R? Always finds reasons to talk to you alone. Once tried to get me to come to his place to cool off. Felt wrong. Another comment. Same. Always made me uncomfortable. Never touched me, but watched me. Too long. Too quiet. We sat in stunned silence. Drew's face went pale. What if Ryan tried to confront him? Or threatened to expose something? And that's why he was so scared that night. I didn't answer. Because deep down, it made too much sense. We decided to bring it to someone we trusted. Ms. Keating, our journalism teacher. She was known for being nosy, fearless, and fiercely protective of her students. We waited after class and showed her everything. The journal, the texts, the Reddit thread, even the blurry camp photo of Eli and Ryan. She didn't say a word until we finished. Then she nodded slowly. You boys just opened Pandora's box. The next morning felt still, like the air was holding its breath. We knew what we had. We knew what it meant. But what we didn't know was how far someone would go to keep the truth buried. Ms. Keating didn't waste time. By third period, she'd already filed a formal report with the school board, including the journal scans, Reddit screenshots, and everything we'd told her about Coach Riles. You've done your part, she told us. Now let the adults handle the storm. But storms don't wait for permission. That afternoon, I got a text from Chloe. Coach Riles just stormed out of the admin office. Face red, yelling. He's looking for someone. I didn't have to wonder who. By the time I ran to the gym hallway, Drew was already cornered, back against the lockers. Coach Riles inches from his face. No yelling, just quiet, dangerous words. I ducked behind a row of vending machines, recording with my phone, just in case. You think you're a hero? Coach hissed. Drew's jaw tightened. I think I'm telling the truth. That wasn't your story to tell. It was Ryan's. He's dead, Coach snapped. Let the dead stay that way. That's when Drew snapped. 2. You followed him, didn't you? Coach froze. What? The night he died. You were there before my dad. You knew where he was going. Coach's face darkened. You don't know what you're talking about. I think you were the last person he ever saw. The hallway went still. And Coach Riles said something I'll never forget. You're just like him. Always digging. Always needing answers. Well, sometimes answers get people hurt. I stepped out from behind the machines, still recording. So what? You're threatening him now. Coach's face flicked toward me, then the phone in my hand. He turned, muttered something under his breath, and walked away fast. We filed the video with Ms. Keating that afternoon. She was pale. This goes beyond school discipline, she said. I'm taking this to the police. Drew didn't say much on the way home, just stared out the window, fingers twitching in his lap. He knew, he finally whispered. Who? My dad. He had to have known. About Coach. About Ryan. About all of it. That night, we confronted Mr. Maddox. He was in the garage again, sitting on the floor, staring at one of Ryan's old soccer medals. When he saw us, he didn't flinch. Drew didn't waste time. How long have you known about Riles? Mr. Maddox sighed. A long, defeated breath. Too long. Why didn't you stop him? Because I was afraid. Of what? Of what it would mean. For me, for our family, for the team. If people found out one of my players was being groomed by my best friend. He trailed off. Drew stared, disgusted. You let him keep hurting people. I thought I could keep it contained. You didn't. You let him push Ryan to the edge. Mr. Maddox lowered his head. Ryan told me once. Just once. He said Coach was making him uncomfortable. I told him to stay away, to not make trouble. He never brought it up again. I thought it went away. No, Drew said bitterly. Ryan just stopped trusting you. We left the garage in silence, and I could feel it in Drew's steps. Something had broken, not just between him and his dad, but in his faith. Later that night, I got another text. No number, no name, just a photo. It was in my bedroom window, taken from the street. At night, from that night, the message said, you don't know what you're starting, but we know where you sleep. I showed it to Drew. He didn't even blink. They're panicking, he said. You're not scared. Terrified, but not enough to stop. We met Chloe the next day at school. She'd already printed copies of all the evidence we had. Journal scans, voicemail transcripts, witness reports, Reddit threads. I'm mailing this to 3 different outlets, she said. If anything happens to us, the story still comes out. By lunch, the police were at school. Coach Riles was escorted out in handcuffs. No one said a word. Phones filmed. Eyes widened. But no one stopped it. And finally, we weren't the only ones carrying the truth. That night, we returned to the lake. The wind was cold. The stars were sharp. And the water was still. We sat at the edge of the dock, where Ryan once stood. Drew pulled out the photo, the one of Ryan and Eli mid-laugh, mid-kiss. He laid it on the wood like an offering. He wasn't a ghost, Drew whispered. He was a person. He deserved to be remembered, not erased. And then he kissed me. Soft, steady, certain, not hidden, not afraid, not too late. Some stories don't end with a bang. They end with a name, spoken out loud after years of silence. And finally heard. The arrest of Coach Riles hit our town like lightning in a drought. First came the silence, then the headlines, then the second wave, other students stepping forward, other voices cracking open truths they'd buried for years. Ryan's name was in the news again, but this time not as a tragedy, as a witness, as a warning, as someone brave enough to write the truth, even when it was too late to speak it. The journal was submitted as evidence. Eli gave a full statement. So did Drew, and after some deep breath and shaking hands. So did I. Chloe helped Ms. Keating publish the whole story as a feature piece in a national LGBTQ teen magazine. The headline read, "He deserved to be remembered. The boy who tried to tell the truth before it killed him." People cried. People raged. But most of all, people listened. And for the first time in years, Ryan wasn't just a photo on a dusty mantle. He was a voice. Mr. Maddox resigned as head coach, held a press conference with shaking hands and tears that didn't feel rehearsed. "I failed my son," he said, "but I will not fail the next one." He since started a scholarship fund in Ryan's name, open to LGBTQ plus students with creative dreams. Drew hasn't forgiven him fully, but he talks to him now, and that's something. As for us, we survived the storm. But we didn't just survive. We grew. Together. It wasn't perfect. People still whispered. Some kids still stared too long in the halls. And the bruise of being the gay couple at the center of the scandal didn't fade overnight. But we didn't hide. Not anymore. We walked into prom hand in hand. Not to make a point. Just because we wanted to. We slow danced under cheap fairy lights and glitter confetti snow. And for once, I didn't care if anyone was watching. They were, but not the way they used to. Eli visited a few weeks later. He stood in Ryan's old room for the first time in years, touching his old sketch pad, whispering a few things to no one. Then he smiled at Drew. "He really did love you," he said. "I know," Drew replied. And I finally loved him the right way back. Summer came fast. Warm days, late nights, long drives with music too loud, and windows all the way down. Every now and then, Drew would glance over at me, half smile tugging at his lips like he still couldn't believe we'd made it. And I'd squeeze his hand and whisper, "Me neither." On the 1-year anniversary of Ryan's death, we gathered at the lake. Me, Drew, Chloe, Eli, and even Mr. Maddox. No speeches, just candles. We set one afloat for every truth that almost got buried, one for every person who made it out, and one for the boy who started it all, who didn't get to finish his story, but helped us start ours. Before we left, Drew knelt by the treehouse, tucked something beneath the same floorboard where the journal had been found. I waited until we got back to the car to ask what it was. "A photo," he said softly, "of us, laughing, just being." "Why?" He smiled, "So that if someone ever finds it, they'll know the ending was love." And that's the thing about endings. Sometimes they're really just beginnings in disguise. If you were in my place, would you lie or tell the truth? Let me know in the comments.